In a world that constantly demands a reaction, silence is a revolution. It is a rare, almost mystical strength. It's the whisper of wisdom in a storm of noise. And in Stoic philosophy, that silence is not weakness. It is power. It is a choice. It is a practice. It is the strongest answer when everything around you screams for a reply. Every day we are provoked by people, by news, by chaos. We're taught to defend, explain, attack, respond. Social media fuels this fire, amplifying every emotion and demanding that we join the noise. But the Stoic knows, not every insult requires a rebuttal. Not every storm demands your voice. Not every opinion deserves your energy. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. This is not apathy. This is not fear. This is mastery. When you can stay calm while others are losing their heads, when you can remain still while everything within you wants to lash out, you've touched something sacred. That's what Stoic wisdom offers. The stillness that lets you choose your response, rather than being ruled by emotion. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." But the deeper teaching is this: you don't always need to react at all. The moment someone disrespects you, gossips about you, provokes you, or tries to manipulate you, that's not your cue to engage. That's your opportunity to observe, to pause, to choose. Silence is not the absence of emotion, it is the mastery of it. To feel the anger rise and still choose peace. To feel the ego tremble and still choose humility. To feel the pain and still choose dignity. That is Stoicism in motion. Let's be honest, silence is hard. Especially when you're hurt, when you're betrayed, when someone lies about you, or uses your name in places you never gave them permission. Everything in you wants justice. Everything in you wants to defend your character. But ask yourself, who are you defending it for? The people who believe the lie don't matter. And the ones who matter don't believe the lie. The Stoic knows this, and so, they don't perform. They protect. Silence is the great filter. It separates the people who truly understand you from those who only listen to respond. It reveals who is truly aligned with your spirit, and who is only attached to your reactions. When you stop reacting, people show you who they really are. There's also another truth. When you stay silent, you maintain control. The moment you react out of anger, you've handed over your power. You've let them dictate your emotional state. But when you remain calm, when you choose not to react, you remain sovereign. Stoic silence is a shield. It guards your energy, your integrity, your peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You always own the option of having no opinion." This is radical in today's world. You don't need to comment on every post, argue every issue, defend every choice. You can let people misunderstand you. You can let them project. You can let them gossip. Because in the end, none of it defines you. What defines you is your inner world, and silence protects that world like a fortress. But let's talk about what silence is not. Silence is not passive aggression. It is not emotional suppression. It is not shutting down or bottling up. True Stoic silence is active. It is the mindful choice to disengage, to rise above, to remain centered. It is awareness dressed in calm. There are moments in life when the wisest thing you can do is sit in your own stillness. To watch the chaos swirl around you and refuse to dance with it. To let the world be loud while you stay grounded. This doesn't mean you never speak. It means when you do, your words come from wisdom, not wounds. It also means learning to pause. That sacred pause between stimulus and response. The Stoic lives in that pause. They build a home there. Because that pause is where freedom lives, where clarity forms, where emotional maturity is born. When you pause, you're no longer a puppet of your emotions. You become the master of them. So how do you develop this Stoic silence? First, practice observation over judgment. When something triggers you, instead of reacting, observe what's happening inside. Ask, what part of me feels attacked? What wound is being touched? What fear is being stirred? Observation turns emotional chaos into insight. Second, anchor into breath. Your breath is your lifeline to calm. When emotions rise, return to breath. Slow, deep, steady. The Stoics trained themselves to return to the present moment, not the imagined future. Not the pain of the past. Silence is born in presence. Third, detach from outcome. A Stoic doesn't stay silent to get a reaction or to punish. They stay silent because they no longer need a reaction. Their peace is not dependent on external behavior. They act from principle, not for praise. Fourth, strengthen your internal dialogue. The louder the world gets, the clearer your inner voice must become. Repeat Stoic affirmations. I control my response. Their behavior is a reflection of them, not me. This is not worth my peace. Your thoughts create the foundation for your silence. And finally, remember this. Not every battle is yours. Not every offense is worth addressing. Not every insult deserves a response. When you live by Stoic wisdom, you learn to choose your peace over your pride. People may misunderstand your silence. They may say you're weak, passive, cold. Let them. They don't see the war you've already won inside. They don't see the mastery it takes to stay still when everything demands that you explode. True power is quiet. It doesn't need a crowd. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need volume. And Stoic power is the quietest of them all. It's the man who smiles instead of fighting. It's the woman who walks away instead of arguing. It's the human who keeps their peace, not because they don't feel, but because they've risen above the need to react. This is not detachment from life. This is engagement with deeper life. A life where your emotions don't own you. A life where your silence is not emptiness, but presence. A life where you listen more than you speak, observe more than you judge, and walk more than you shout. You are not here to convince, to chase, to prove. You are here to align, to protect your sacred energy, to guard your focus, to live with intention. So the next time life provokes you, remember, you have a choice. You don't have to react. You don't have to explain. You don't have to fight. You can pause. You can breathe. You can stay silent. And in that silence, you become untouchable. That is Stoic wisdom. That is real power.